John Thomas Oakes?
John Thomas Oakes, son of Pat Oakes and Tommy Oakes.
Yes.
Well, question one: what is your current career path, and how did you get there? Started. How did you get there? Started on this path you're on right now.
My mom was a music teacher, and my dad was also a musician and singer. And they both sang, and we had instruments around the house from as far back as I can remember. So I was always drawn to music, and I've stayed with music my whole life. And so I've never really deviated. I've been interested in other things, but I've always really enjoyed and loved music, and so that's the path I've stayed on.
That's nice. Question two: as a child, what did you want to become and why?
I wanted to be a musician from the word go, and I had teachers early on. From as early as age 2, I was in violin class, and I played trumpet and clarinet, and then finally I found a piano teacher when I was 12 named Jane Perry, and she really turned me around and got me to be really, really serious about it. And I'm grateful that she came along to help me decide that that was my instrument.
That's nice. Question three: what are the greatest challenges you have faced in your life, and how did you learn to overcome them or adapt to it?
My greatest challenges in life are, I think, almost self-imposed because I realize very, very strongly every day that I'm not where I want to be as a musician or as a person. And so I feel like I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to that. And so I don't feel like I'm really in competition with anybody else but myself. And so if I can if I can make it a goal to be better than me the day before, then I feel like I've moved forward a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my
Nice.
main things I have to overcome.
Question four: what are the biggest ways you have adapted to challenges or obstacles in pursuing your position, and how have they sharpened your mindset growing forward towards your goals?
Great thing about music is unless you're just an extreme soloist, you usually end up working with people. So I
Mm-hmm.
think working in collaboration with people has really stretched me because I've been in a lot of different situations with a lot of different people with a lot of different personalities. And those situations that you get thrown into, you just have to put your head down and do the thing that's right in front of you right now and get to the next hurdle because there's always another hurdle. And so working with people is a real challenge because everybody's different.
Huh. This is nice. Question five: who was the biggest influence in your youth compared to the biggest influence now? And if they're the same, why do you think it stayed consistent? And if different, what is the reason behind the change?
Uh, my earthly idols have always been my mom and dad,
Mm-hmm.
Tommy and Pat, and also my brother. My brother, I'm very impressed by my brother, and so I always look up to them. But I realized at some point that they were all pointing me to Jesus, and so there was a shift, I guess, probably probably in high school when there was a shift, and I realized, oh, I admire these people, but these people are pointing me to somebody else, and so that's where the shift came for me, and now uh, Jesus is my biggest influence.
That's nice. Question six: were there any setbacks that you faced in your career or life that you thought you wouldn't be able to overcome, or were there an achievement that you doubted yourself that you were able to, let's say, like, chase it and complete it?
Okay. Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, when you're working with people, and there's a particular set of challenges. So there have been times when I felt like I failed, uh, depending on the setting, whether it was I felt like the challenges were too big for me to overcome. There were times when I lived in New York that I was thrown into situations that I wasn't prepared for musically, and so I felt a little humiliated. But but the great thing about working in collaboration with people too is that everybody's working together to accomplish one goal. And so there have been a lot of times in my life where I've had things that have come off really well, like shows or concerts, and I don't take the credit all by myself. I give credit to everybody who was involved, because there have been some really good successes along the way, and I'm grateful for those.
Okay. Final question. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stated, I have a dream that my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by their connection of their character. Do you feel that in 2022, America has accomplished this dream? Why or why not?
I feel like I grew up in America that had accomplished that dream, because I've had friends from every nation in the world my whole life. People with different color skin, and I've never had a problem with it. Um, and when I lived in New York, it was such a melting pot of people. People used to ask me, why do you love New York so much? And I said, because of all the different people. And they all lived together, and they were peaceful. And there's not really anywhere else in the world that you can go that has the level of acceptance that we have here. Now, I do believe that there are some very public and vocal people who are trying to tell us that that's not happening, but I think they're lying to us because they have an agenda. I would challenge those people to go anywhere else in the world and try to find the kind of acceptance that you find here in America. So, yes, I believe we have seen that dream accomplished, but people are trying to tell us that it's not.